Well, I wanted to catch up with the two of you on technology because it's so pervasive. But perhaps first, Chun and Peng, tell me a little bit about your background and how it brings you to this discussion. Chun.
Sure. Thank you for your time today. Yeah, so my name is Chun. I'm a partner in KPMG's New York Business Tax Services Group, and I actually help co-lead the tax compliance management services for the business unit. So compliance is something that's very near and dear to my heart that I deal with on a daily basis with my clients. So happy to talk about technology today. And yeah, and it's a hot topic among our clients. So thanks for this opportunity today.
Wonderful. Peng.
Hi, my name is Peng Li. I'm an international tax managing director. So as part of my day-to-day work, a big chunk of the work is really international tax compliance. And some of the tools that we're using today is really changing the way that we're doing our business. So really happy to talk about it here.
And that just leads me, Peng, directly into the first question. So nice segue. So, and perhaps Chun, I'll just start with you. How are we using technology in compliance engagements today?
Right. So it's really from the start to all the way to filing of the return in how technology is used. And what I mean by that is all the way from data gathering of, getting the pre-tax information from the client's ledger system to computing the book to tax adjustments to putting those numbers onto the forms all the way to e-filing. It's pervasive throughout the delivery of a compliance engagement. And from an international tax perspective, we also utilize the tools to basically, do a lot of planning, scenario planning analysis, those types of things. And what it does is that it enhances efficiency, number one. And number two, it removes a lot of human error in the process of preparing returns because we're really just automating a lot of those steps involved with the process and through the use of technology and AI in the process. So it has been very positively received among our clients. And I think it's kind of taking it to the next level in how we're delivering on our return engagements efficiently and with a reduction in the cost as well.
Well, really interesting, Chun, because I can only imagine most tax departments today are really strapped. Fewer people doing more things. So anything that can take human hours out of the equation has to be well received.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the market demands it. So we're basically just kind of reacting to what we're seeing in the market and what we're hearing from our clients.
Nice. Now, I can imagine it's not a one size fits all. So, Peng, how are we adapting, if at all, these tools for particular clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the significant tool that we're currently using as part of the international tax compliance process is a tool developed by KPMG. It's called International Tax Reform Analyzer. So the tool itself is actually very, very customizable. So for example, for clients who are interested in doing their GILTI calculation with high tax election versus without, and sometimes doing their interest deduction limitation, without any grouping election under 163J versus not, the tool can easily accommodate all of that. And also, oftentimes for international tax compliance, clients are really challenged by the foreign tax credit calculation. But in this model, we can actually use the model to customize the way that the expenses are allocated for foreign tax credit limitation calculation purposes. So our clients really rave about the flexibility, the level of flexibility our tool is offering.
Well, that's really interesting, Peng. I can only imagine, just given the sheer amount of changes in tax law over the last couple of years, well, since 2017, right? And then you sort of think about what might be coming in terms of BEPS 2.0, even for US multinationals. Just that complexity almost demands this sort of technology so people can stay up to date with their calculations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And no, Chun, how much further does it go beyond ITRA?
Yeah, so KPMG also, from a federal and state tax compliance standpoint, has its own tool called Business Tax Engine, and that's basically used to, take the return prep from start to finish, and it has many great features. One of which is kind of helping clients manage the workflow. So you can kind of clients can get access to the tool, and so they can kind of get real time update on where what the status of the return preparation is. And also it allows the teams between the client and KPMG to collaborate together too, because they would have access to the tool. They can decide how much they want to be involved with the return preparation versus completely outsourcing on the other end of the spectrum. So it does allow seamless teaming and a lot of collaboration between the client and KPMG.
Well, fascinating. So, and really just continuing with that question I asked Peng about adaptation, this really allows people to choose where on the continuum they play in terms of how much work they do versus how much work someone else does. And Peng, what are some of the other benefits of using some of the technology we've discussed today?
Yeah, so for example, for ITRA, I think one of the biggest benefit for our clients is that the tool really allow our client to be able to manage their tax provision, tax compliant planning, and tax compliance and planning on a seamless basis. So for example, the same data that's being used for compliance can be used for planning as well, just by changing certain toggles. For example, the ITRA allows you to change a entity classification for a foreign entity from a corporation to a DRE, and you can instantly recalculate what if this entity is in a different entity classification. So I think that's one of the greatest benefit. Some of the other benefit that we have seen is the KPMG actually can give client access to the data. So meaning that it's very flexible in the sense that if the client wanted to internalize the process and using this tool in-house, we have the ability to help the clients with that process. And then the other benefit that is really helpful is that KPMG has spent a huge investment on this tool and is constantly updating it. So from our client perspective, it's really helping client to mitigate their compliance risk, because they don't need to every day chase around what are the new changes to the tax regulations. They can somewhat rely on the tool to give them the best answer.
Well, Chun and Peng, this is fascinating because it really sort of starts to bring, as you said, Peng, compliance and consulting together, and then Chun, as you said, really take a lot of labor out of things and result in a better work product at the end of the day. So thank you both for your time today. This has been a fascinating discussion about the use of technology at KPMG in compliance engagements, whether it's ITRA or going through into the business tax. Thank you for your time today.
Sure.
Thank you.